And I don't see why Israel, as a society that was smart enough to create one of the most exciting knowledge-based economies, will not be able to continue to make a great contribution to the family of nations.
Absolutely, we already are, you know.
Yeah, and I believe that will continue.
Okay, so again, what does the center believe? I obviously, okay, we want to change the system, but before that happens, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen anytime soon. What is the solution to the Palestinian and Israeli tension?
So, there are several, if you ask me, my opinion, I think that 10-7 basically took off the table the idea of Palestinian statehood as was conceived by past governments and past American administrations. I think that the main reason why I'm saying this is off the table is because the Israelis don't believe that anymore. So they may intellectually say, yes, in theory, two-state solution or three-state solution, right? Because Gaza and West Bank are two separate entities. And I don't think that there's any interest post 10-7 of letting Gaza connect with Judea and Samaria, right? We
Yeah.
don't want the Palestinians in Gaza to influence the Palestinians in the West Bank. So it's a big issue. So we may even look at the three-state solution. But the Israelis, I think they look
What
at it
is
and
the
say,
three-state solution?
it's what's happening now. Gaza is a separate entity than Judea and Samaria, than the West Bank. Two different things, two different political systems, two different rulers. So de facto, you're looking at three different entities: Gaza, the West Bank, known as Judea and Samaria, and Israel. But all that can change. Let me explain why. So post 10-7, I think Israelis lost faith in the, not lost faith, they don't believe in the urgency of finding a solution right now. See, right now, what we need to do is separate us from them. We need to protect ourselves. We need to take better care of our army. We need to be able to produce, for example, our own ammunition. We need to boost our brand so that our country is strong and we have strong reputation. When you have strong reputation, it's easier to get international legitimacy, for example, which is something Israel lacks severely since 10-7, and so on and so forth. There's so many things that we need to do first before we take care of the Palestinians. Also, remember that when we speak about peace in the Middle East, the definition of peace in the Middle East is very different than the definition of peace in Europe or in North America. We're not talking about having the relationship the United States has with Canada. We're talking about some form of non-belligerency, meaning let's agree not to kill each other. And let's agree that we are going to achieve some sort of a livable arrangement that will allow us to live side by side without violence. That's why we are emphasizing normalization rather than peace. People say, let's have normal relations. We don't have to have peace agreements. Let's have normal relationship. So Israelis will tell you probably that we want the Palestinians to run their own affairs, but we also have to make sure that Israel's security needs are being met. For example, Palestinians will not have an army. I think it's clear. The Palestinians, any future agreement, Palestinians are not going to be able to control their own borders, right? We're not going to let them have an air force or submarines or navy or any of that. One of the reasons after the collapse of the Assad regime that Israel attacked the most strategic assets of the Syrian army and the navy and the air force is because of that fear. We don't know who's going to take over in Syria, right? This guy we know is a former Al Qaeda guy. The last thing we want is Al Qaeda people with access to submarines and air force and ballistic missiles. So Israel had to destroy all of that infrastructure in order to make sure that it doesn't fall in the wrong hands. The same thing goes for the Palestinians. So there could be some sort of an arrangement, but it will definitely, for sure, will not include a complete Palestinian independence as people may have envisioned in past years.